Number 13, the why must be greater than the sacrifice the customer needs to make. The human brain is made up of two sides, the logical side and the emotional side. The left side of your brain controls all of your rational, analytical thought. From a buying perspective, all of those logic-based objections you hear come from the left side. Their logic is literally getting in the way. The right side of the brain controls your emotions, and this is the important part, it also controls your decisions. So think about it. The decisions your customers are making are constantly being controlled by the emotional processor in their brain, not the logical one. Harvard Business Review did a study that found that 95% of all purchase decisions happen emotionally, not logically. They happen on a subconscious emotional level that isn't being controlled by that logical processor. It doesn't matter if they're purchasing for their business or purchasing for themselves. We are genetically wired to make decisions emotionally. When you tell a purchasing manager you can save her thousands of dollars per sale in operating cost, the why is everything. Maybe it means they can have more significance in the eyes of their peers or boss. Maybe it means they'll have more certainty knowing that their job is safe and that the company is even more stable with the increased income. Again, these are the whys behind the selling message that move the sale forward. Every sales warrior knows that emotion trumps logic, and so they sell the why. The why behind your selling message is what closes the sale. It's not about the things like your company's history or your customer service record. Those things are nice, but they aren't what really connects with customers on a deeper level. The why is the life improvement you offer. It's the emotional benefits they'll receive when they buy from you. It's the reason they'll become more fulfilled than they were before they met you. I always say you need to go as many whys deep as it takes to close the sale. So what do I mean by that? A why is just the emotional fuel that helps your customers overcome the objections they have in their mind. So how will you improve their life? What will it do for them on an emotional level that they aren't getting right now? It means expanding on those emotional benefits until the customer thinks, why would I ever go with anyone else? But here's the thing. Every purchase involves some kind of sacrifice on the customer's part. A lot of times, the customer is sacrificing the price they thought they were going to pay for something that cost more. The cure to that is emotional urgency. It's emotional connection. It's understanding that the why must be greater than the sacrifice the customer needs to make.
So Jason, number 13 here says the why must be greater than the sacrifice the customer needs to make. And something really interesting that you said in this part was about all of the decisions that we make are from the emotional side of our brain. They're all emotional. And what's really interesting is most of the B2B sales warriors and sales professionals that I've worked with will say, Mary, it's all about price. It's just RFPs. Nobody's paying attention to it. It's not emotional. It's just all about logic. It's all about the numbers and the bottom line. And that's why people buy. And I've heard this when I was selling. I hear this now on the training side, working with other sales professionals. But what's interesting to me now as a purchaser for a company, as somebody that B2B salespeople are coming after quite often, it is much more emotional on the business side than it is on a personal side. So when I think about it, if I'm buying a product or a service or something for myself, the only person that's affected is me and maybe, my close family members. But if I'm making a purchase for the company, that's highly emotional because I realize it's not just me that's affected. It's every one of our employees. It's every one of our clients. It can be every one of our other vendors. It's a big deal. And so I really like how much we talked about decisions are made on the emotional side of our brain and that all decisions are emotional.
Yeah, you're exactly right on that. And let's talk about that business decision as well. So, I'm a big fan of always sell the person in front of you. I know another school of thought out there is that you want to ask and find out who are the decision makers involved. And then what you end up doing is you pause your sell and say, okay, well, why don't we get everyone on the call together and I'll present to all of you guys at the same time. Well, then what does the person say back to you? Well, they get kind of offended in most cases because they're on a task or on a mission to figure out, is this the right decision for their department? And are they going to put their reputation on the line to promote what you're trying to sell them to their boss. I mean, it's their careers on the line. One of the things that we believe at FPG is we're in the business of getting people promoted, that we're all about, showing a person how if they bring us into their company, then they can get a career boost off of it because of all the speed and profitability it's going to bring their organization. But so here's the thing though, that you first have to show the reasons why your product and service will improve the company's life. And you have to get the person in front of you to say yes to that they believe that's the case. And then once that why is greater than the sacrifice, what's the sacrifice? Sacrifice is, in that case, is them having to put their neck on the line, their reputation on the line to say, hey, boss, I know that we said that we're tightening down the budget right now, but I've got a really good solution that I want to put in front of you. That's what you're up against. That's the sacrifice. In that case, it's extremely emotional because it's about their name. It's about their reputation.